What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to finally start working on the EG. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to get the D15B out of the car. So we're going to just be pulling a few things off, just getting it ready to come out, and then we're just going to put together this motor, freshen it up a little bit today, and then basically just get it ready to go into the car. So without further ado, let's get right into it.
What's your name? Don't you play this game? You from another land, got you like it's contraband.
Alright, so basically what we're going to be doing today is just getting this motor unmounted. Maybe not necessarily pulled out of the car just yet, but we're just basically going to get everything unmounted, unhook all the wires, just get it ready to come out of the car. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to jack up the whole front of the car. I'm going to pull the wheels off because I got to get the axles out. And then I'm going to start draining all the fluids, the oil, transmission fluid, coolant, any oils that are in the car. I'm just going to drain them out just so we don't make a huge mess in the driveway. So I'm going to go ahead, jack up the car, and then we'll start draining fluids. Okay, so we got the car jacked up, pulled the wheels off, and I actually ended up taking the skid plate off because it was kind of in the way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to start by draining the oil. So 17 mil bolt. And then we're going to drain the radiator fluid and the transmission fluid. And then we can start unbolting stuff from the top, like coolant hoses, all these electrical wires and all that kind of stuff. But before I do anything else, before I do all that, I'm just going to go ahead and take out the battery just so we don't short anything out if it comes to that. So I'm going to disconnect the battery and then start draining the fluids. Alright, so all the oil's out of the car, so the next thing we're going to do is drain the coolant. And to drain the coolant, there's a little plug somewhere here underneath the rad. If I can find where it is, right there, that white screw here. So we're just going to turn this, and then all the coolant should drop down. And then just to let it drain faster, we're just going to open the rad cap here, and then it should drain out much quicker. And then we can get to draining the transmission fluid. Okay, so we got our pan under here, so we're just going to go under the car now. Like I said, little screw here, so we're just going to turn this screw until it comes loose. There we go. And then the coolant should start coming out. There we go. So we're just going to wait for that to drain out, and then we're going to plug it back up and then start draining the transmission fluid. Alright, the coolant is going to take some time to drain, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is just start disassembling a couple of things on the top end here.
Work it, baby.
Okay, so pretty much almost all of the fluids are out of the car. The only thing I need to look into right now is the air conditioning. I don't know if I'm gonna probably need to be disconnecting a couple of hoses for the AC. So I just need to make sure the car, the system isn't charged. If so, I need to find a way to discharge it, because I know AC is a little bit difficult to work with as in discharging it. But anyway, all the fluids are out of the car. So the next thing we're going to be doing, as soon as I figure out the AC situation, is I'm going to take the axle nuts off. I need to find a socket that fits on that because I don't have one, so I might need to go pick one up. And then we'll pull the axles out, and then the motor is like pretty much almost halfway there. And then all we got to do is just disconnect all the wires that are in the motor, disconnect the motor mounts, and then should be ready to drop out. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and remove the axle nuts. So what I have here is there's a special tool, not really special tool, but there's impact sockets like these. This is a 32 millimeter. This one isn't an impact, it's just an oil filter socket. This is all I have. So I'm gonna, first of all, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and try and get it out, just cracking it by hand or with my legs if it's really tight. And then we'll see if we can get it out with the impact gun. So on either side there, the nut is going to be kind of pushed into this little groove here. So we're just going to hammer it out a little bit and just pry it open just so the nut's able to come out. Because if when it's stuck in there, it's not going to be able to come out. So we open that up a bit and then we're going to go ahead and try and crack this loose.
It's horrible.
Not okay. The socket, the adapter just completely got shredded. That's not okay. Holy shit, how did that snap too? Alright, so all the sockets we used actually ended up snapping. So it's because I don't have a 1/2 inch 32 mil socket. So we're using a 1/2 inch to a 3/8 adapter, and the impact one ended up snapping as well. Good things these have warranty from Canadian Tire. All the Mastercraft stuff does. So I'm just gonna have my buddy bring over a 32 1/2 inch. All right, so we got the nuts out. We managed to get them out with a bigger socket there. So those are all out. So what we're going to do now is just we're going to go ahead and disconnect the lower ball joint, which is the one under here, this one here. So it's a 17 mil castle nut. So we're just going to disconnect that just so we can let it come down, pull this up, and then pull the axle out. Alright, so we did manage to get the axles out of the car. Just took a little bit of prying, but both sides are out. So what we gotta do now is the boys just went to go get a bigger impact gun. So what we're gonna do is just unbolt the coil over from here so we can slide the axle out. Same thing on the other side. And then we're just almost ready to pull the motor out. I think what we're gonna do is just go through all the wires that are connected to the main block, just unclip them because I don't want to have to you know, move harnesses, you know, out of the car onto that motor. I'd just rather keep everything in here and just plug everything where it goes. But yeah, so it's almost ready to come out. I'm just going to go through what hoses need to come unplugged. I'm going to undo all those, and then we should be ready to pull the motor out as soon as the mounts are disconnected. So before I start pulling hoses and wires, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, whatever hose I start unplugging, I'm just going to mark it with some masking tape just so I remember where it goes. Because a lot of hoses and wires, they look identical. So I'm just going to mark everything just to make sure everything goes back in the same spot and that we have no issues when we try and start the car. So the next thing to do is I'm just going to go over the rest of the wires. I got most of the coolant hoses and wires that need to come off disconnected, just a few things here. And then motor mounts, and then the motor should be ready to drop. We're just going to put a jack underneath with a block of wood, and we're just going to drop it down from the bottom and try and slide it out. We are going to need to jack up the car a lot higher though, so we're going to have to go grab a couple more jacks just to get that situated. But yeah, it's pretty much almost out. So like I said, just a couple more wires and then the engine mounts, and then should be ready to come out. Alright guys, so disconnecting the shifter linkage was a little bit of a pain. So there's a little cover that goes here. It's this cover right here. So there's two 12 mil bolts, so one here, and then so it goes one in here and the other one's in here. As soon as those come off, it will expose all this whole area here. And then there's a little 10 mil that kind of holds the shift linkage on from the bottom somewhere here. So there's a 10 mil that holds it into this spot right here. And then it goes right there. That's where the 10 mil is. And this thing would just pop right out. And then that's how the shift linkage comes off. So just in case any of you guys are taking an auto out of a out of a EG Civic. I'm pretty sure it'll probably be the same for an EM Civic or even the EJ Civic. So that's how you take the shifter linkage off. So right now that's all out. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to start disconnecting all the motor mounts, and then the exhaust over here needs to come out. All right, so we got the exhaust manifold out of the way. All the axles are all out, everything that we did before. So the last thing to do is we're just going to go ahead and actually pull the intake manifold off, because there's some wires for the harness that we need to disconnect that are underneath the manifold. And then we're going to go ahead, pull the motor mounts out, and then the motor is pretty much ready to come out. Ready? Slower. Pistons up. Okay, so the issue we were having is with this mount right here. This mount didn't want to, it was just binding up against here, so we had to disconnect the bolt that was holding it on this end here. So the motor should drop out right now, so we're going to give that a go. So really slowly, we're just going to go ahead and drop it. Disconnecting from here then?
Yeah, I see the two bolts right here. You want to keep recording or stop?
Just pause it. Yeah, finally.
Everything's cleared.
Alright guys, so we finally got the motor out of the car, as you can see. So after about 7 hours worth of work, it's finally out. So in the next video, what we're going to be doing is we're just going to be taking all the good parts that we need from this motor and swapping them onto the B15B2 motor, or the D15B2 rather, sorry. So yeah, like I said, swapping all the little parts over in the next couple of videos. That's going to be it for now, guys. Until the next video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next video.